Okay guys, so our today's topic will be multiplying and dividing rational expression. Okay, so our today's topic will be multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Okay, so this topic will be really important. Okay, so let me introduce some of the really important property first. Okay, some of the really important property first. So our first property over here we have is multiplying rational expression. Okay, so this is the property, multiplying rational expression. And what we basically have is Q over P. Sorry, let me repeat it. It's actually P over Q multiply R over S is equal to P R over QS. Right. So we also have Q not equal to 0 and S not equal to 0, right? So so basically so basically over here is that Q both Q and S is the denominator, so that's why we just cannot have the S equal to 0. Okay, so Q not equal to 0 and S not equal to 0, and basically P, Q, R, and S are polynomials. Okay. Alright, so that is our first property over here. About the second property, what we have over here is we have the dividing rational expression. Okay, so we have the dividing rational expression. So let me actually read it. Okay, so the expression says P over Q divide R over S is equal to P over Q multiply S over R is equal to PS over QR. And we basically also have Q not equal to 0, R not equal to 0, S not equal to 0, because we just cannot have denominator as 0. Okay, that's why Q, R, S are not equal to 0. Okay, so P, Q, R, and S and P, Q, R, and S are polynomial. Okay, so maybe pause the video and then try to know it. Okay, because we're gonna apply it. We're gonna apply those two properties in the question. Okay, we're gonna apply it. All right. Okay, so now let's do the question together. Okay, so since this section is kind of like a little bit big, so I just want to make sure you guys does understand it. So that's why we have totally 9 questions over here. Okay, so we have totally 9 questions. So that's kind of like a little bit more. I feel like, but we're gonna work through them one by one. Okay, and I will make sure you guys does know how to doing the multiplication and the division. Okay, okay. So now let's first do do question 1. Okay, do question 1. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, to make sure you guys see really clearly. Okay, so question 1, right? So question 1, what we have is something like is negative 3m to the power 3n over 10m n to the power 3 multiply the other side, right? So what we're gonna do is over here, so the basic strategy over here is that you first want to cancel something in this term, and then we want to cancel something in this term, and then we just multiply them together. Okay, so that's basically the strategy. So first of all, we have to simplify the term on the right hand side. Okay, so you can see we can actually cancel m, and then 3 become 2, right? And we can also cancel n, right? And then 3 become 2, right? Right. Okay. So basically, we cancel some terms at the beginning. So we have negative 3n squared, right? And then we have a 10n squared. So that's basically what we have it for now, right? Okay. So now we have to focusing on the turn on the left hand side. We want to also cancel some turns, right? So you can see, or in this turn, we can actually in this turn. Okay, so in this turn we can actually cancel out n and n get cancelled, right? And then we can also cancel out n to the power 2, and then n to the power 3 just become 1, right? Just become 1. So now we basically finish the simplification of the other term, right? So of the term of the on the right hand side, on the right hand side, right? So it becomes 5 over negative 9n, right? So we basically finish the simplification, right? Okay. Now actually upon this point we can actually cancel more terms. Okay, so you can if you can see it, we can actually cancel out 5. We can actually cancel out 5, and then 10 will become 2. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna show you some details. Okay, so we basically so let me actually show you the detail. Okay, why we can actually cancel in this kind of way. Okay, so let me erase a little bit, and then okay, so we're gonna put in those two together. Okay, negative 9n, right? So now you should be able to see that we can actually cancel out 5 get cancelled, and then 10 become 2, cause 10 is actually 5 multiplied by 2, right? And then 5 get cancelled, it becomes 2, right? Okay. And then you can see over here we have a negative and a negative. So negative and negative, it get cancelled. It become positive, right? So up on this point, we can also cancel 3, right? We can cancel a 3, and then 9 becomes 3, right? So you know that 9 is actually equal to 3 multiplied by 3. 1 3 get cancelled, so it's just only 1 3 left, right? So now we can actually just write down the answer. So you can see on the bottom we have 2n squared. So let me actually so on the bottom we have 2n squared, and then multiplied by 3n, right? So don't forget about this n. Okay, don't forget about this n, because we have 9n over, we have 9n before, right? So okay, don't forget about the n. Okay, so we have 3n for now. And at the top you can see we have a m squared, right? At the top we have an n squared, right? So you can see on the top we already cancel 5. We also cancel 3, right? So there's only m squared left, right? There's only m squared, right? M squared left, right? So now we can actually simplify a little bit more. So we have m squared at the top as the numerator, and on the denominator what we have is 6n to the power 3, right? So on the denominator what we have is 6, right? It's going to be 6n to the power 3, right? So now you can see we actually finish it, right? So we basically finish the simplification, right? So we basically finish the simplification, and the answer for question 1 is m squared over 6n to the power 3. Okay, so let's move into question 2. Okay, so question 2 is, the previous question is actually a little bit more steps, but for question 2 is actually it should be less, right? So as always, you always want to simplify those two terms at the beginning, before we actually doing the multiplication. So first of all we have to simplify both terms if we can. Okay, so now let's look at the term on the left hand side. So you can see we have a x. We can actually cancel out this x, and then this 3 will become 2, right? So okay, so basically the thing we for the left hand side, for the left term, the thing only we can cancel is x. Okay, so that's why so basically what we have is 5x squared over 3. Okay, and right now you look at the right hand side. Okay, this term this term just basically just cannot simplify it. So we just write it down. Okay, we just write it down, and then we want to multiply those two terms, right? So we basically multiply them, 5x squared multiplied by 9, and then 3 multiplied by 20x, right? So now you can see we can actually cancel some terms over here. We can actually cancel 3, and then 9 becomes 3, cos 9 is actually equal to 3, right? So cos 9 is actually equal to 3 multiplied by 3. 1 3 get cancelled, so there's only one 3 left, right? And you can see over here we can actually cancel 5 get cancelled, 20 become 4, right? Cos 20 is actually equal to 4 multiplied by 5, right? So we cancel out 5, there's only 4 left, right? So now let me actually write it down, okay? So for now what we have is 4x as the denominator, and then on the top what we have is 3x squared, right? Okay. So we have 3x squared as the numerator at the top, and we have 4x on the denominator, right? So now you can see we can also cancel x, so we can cancel x. So the other x become, right? So we just get x are cancelled, right? Okay. So now you can see the final solution is actually this, right? It's 3 over 4x, right? Okay. I know actually, when you're doing those simplifications, sometimes like, when you're doing these steps, is the scene is kind of like a little bit mixed, right? But the scene is kind of like a little bit mixed, right? So if you are able to do it, I mean, if you are actually able to, simplify everything in one step, then you want to make sure, you want to make sure your answer, you can actually see your answer, okay? Cause you don't want to actually write down the wrong number, right? Okay. Otherwise, if you have doing many steps, like over here we have doing many simplification, right? So if you feel like you kind of like really easy to making mistake during this process, so you should slow down. You should not doing many steps, maybe just doing 1 or 2 steps, right? Okay, that's one of the strategy. Okay, so maybe just write it down 1 or 2. Simplify 1 or 2 times, and then you write it down, and then you try to simplify a little bit more. That will be more accurate. Okay. All right. So the answer, for this question is over here. Okay. So let's move into question 3. So question 3 over here. So I mean, so you basically look at this question. You feel like it's gonna be it's gonna be some work, right? But as I say before, you trying to simplify it. You're trying to simplify it before you actually doing the multiplication or division. Okay. So as always, we have to simplify it. Okay, so let's actually start with the left hand side. Okay, so we're gonna start with the left hand side to simplify a little bit. Okay, so up on this point, I feel like you guys does know how we actually factor out the term nominal, right? So you can see on the left hand side term is basically the trinomial, right? So we have to using the method which I told you guys before, to factor it, right? So basically, okay, so let me actually just write it down. Okay, so we have, so now we're gonna focus we're gonna try to focus on the top part. We're gonna try to focus on try to factor out the denominator, okay, the numerator. Okay, so what we have over here is 2x squared, right? So what we have over here is 2x squared. Wait a second, let me actually take out my pen. let me take out my pen. Yeah, okay, so what we have as the denominator, as the numerator over here, what we have is 2x squared minus x and minus 3. So you actually try to factor it, right? So you try to using the initial method to factor it, right? So that's basically your goal, right? Okay. So basically the right combination over here is that the right combination over here is basically this. Okay, so let me actually write it down. So the right combination over here is 2x and x, and then we have a negative 3 and 1. Okay, so this gonna be the right combination. Okay, so you can actually write those down in another paper. Okay, in another paper. Okay, so we already finished. We basically already finished we finished the factory of the numerator, right? So now we are actually trying to okay, sorry. So now what we basically want to do over here, let me write down the question first. It's actually 3x squared plus 7x. So now your goal is you're trying to factor out this part. Okay, you actually want to factor out this part. All right, so let us do it together. So what we have over here is 3x squared plus 7x plus 4, right? So you actually want to actually factor it, right? So you basically want to actually factor it, right? So basically for the denominator, okay, for the denominator, which is this part, the right combination over here is 3x, x, and 4 and 1. Okay, so this is gonna be the right combination. Okay, so you write it down 3x plus 4 and x plus 1. Okay, so now you can see we actually already done the factorization of the left hand side, right? So we basically done the factorization of the left hand side. We already done it, right? So now we actually want to factor out. We basically want to factor out the stuff on the right hand side, right? So we want to factor out the thing on the right hand side, right? So this part, right? So first we focus on the numerator. Okay, we want to factor out the numerator by using the initial method, right? You guys know it, right? I mean we have been practiced this many times, right? For the people, if you're still confusing how we actually factor out, please looking at my previous video. Okay. So what we have for the numerator, what we have is 3x squared minus 11x minus 20, right? So you're trying to figure out a way, like figure out a way how we can actually doing this, right? So how we are actually able to factor out this, right? So let us actually try a little bit. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so I think I figured out. Okay, so you know, if you kind of interesting how you actually get it, then you take out your paper and then try it by yourself. Okay, and then try it by yourself. Alright. Okay. So basically, for over here, the right combination for the numerator is 3x and x, and then we have 4 and then negative 5. Okay, so we are not actually going to doing the cross product over here, because we have been doing this many times, and then right. So over here, I just gonna show you guys, what is the right combination. Right, so what is the right combination over here? Okay, so you guys know it. You just put in a line, right, and then you write it down, right? Okay. So now we actually finished the factorization of the numerator of the right hand side, right? So there's only one part left, which is the denominator, right? So this is the part we want to actually factor it. right? So if you guys, I mean, we have, if you guys are, you know, are clear enough, you should be able to see we can actually factor out this right away, right? So because this one is actually just one of the property, right? It's just one of the property, right? So record the property, what we have is a plus b and a minus b, right? So this is the property to factor out the denominator of the right hand side, right? Okay. Okay, so now we basically finish all the factorization for all the terms, right? So now is the time we can actually cancel some terms, right? So we want to actually cancel as many terms, right? So we can actually cancel out x plus 1, and then we can also cancel x plus 1, right? And for the term of the right hand side, you can see we just cannot cancel anything, right? We just basically cannot cancel anything, right? So now is the time for us to actually multiply those two terms, right? So we let me actually write it more clear. So now we can actually cancel those terms. Okay, so now we have to multiply it. Sorry. Okay, so we just gonna, you know, multiply it. Okay. Okay, so remember the property, right? So remember the property, right? So basically over here we are actually applying the property, right? Okay. Okay, so now after we apply the property of the multiplication, right? So now you can see we can actually cancel more terms, right? So we can actually cancel more terms. We can actually cancel out 3x plus 4 and then 3x plus 4, right? And then we can also cancel 2x minus 3 and then 2x minus 3, right? So we can actually cancel those terms, right? And then now the solution, as you can see, is x minus 5 and then 2x plus 3. Okay, so I hope you guys, you know, okay, I hope you guys does, you know, okay, I hope you guys does understand how we actually, you know, solve this kind of problem. It's basically we have to factor out all the terms and then we cancel the term, right? So the hard part will be the factorization, right? The hard part will be the factorization. But after you solving that, then, you know, the canceling is kind of like a little bit easy, right? So we have done many factorization, you know, right, of this kind of question, right, before, right? So I say you guys does get it, okay? Okay, so let's move into question 4. Question 4, you look at this, it's kind of like, you know, the same thing, right? The same thing, right? So we have, as always, we have to factor out like both those two terms, right? So we have to factorize both two terms in order to you know, right? So we first of all we want to factor out those two terms, and then we also want you know, try, you know, after we factor all the terms, then we want to cancel the term. We want to make the answer as simple as possible, right? So that's basically the idea. Okay, so over here, what we have, you know, for the left hand side. Okay, so you can see what we have is a minus 3b and a plus 3b, right? So okay, so recall. Okay, a plus b, a minus b. So again, we basically using this property in order to factor out the numerator of the left hand side, right? Okay. Okay. So now we finished the we finished the factorization of the numerator of the left hand side, right? So now we actually want to factor out the denominator. Okay, so now we want to actually factor out the denominator. Okay, so let me show you. I'm just gonna show you guys the right combination. How is this gonna work? Okay, so this one is gonna be the right combination. So you also have to write it down. You know, negative 2b and then 3b. Okay. Okay, so yeah, okay, now let me see again. Okay, so yeah, so this is actually the right combination. Okay, yeah, so we have a minus 2b and a minus 3b, right? So you can see, okay, so you know, all right, there's actually not many things you can talking about over here, cause you know, all right, so you know, you can see over here, you know, we have a negative 6b squared, right? So that's why over here we have negative 2b and then 3b, right? Okay. Okay, so now we basically finished so let me clean it. Okay, so now we basically finished the whole factorization of the left hand side, right? Of the left hand side. So now we want to do the factorization of the right hand side. Okay, so we want to do the factorization of the right hand side, which is this side. Okay, so now we first have to get a start. We first have to get a start on the numerator. Okay, on the numerator, and you should be able to see how you factorize, how you do the factory right away. We have a 6a, right? So at the numerator, we have a 6a as the greatest common factor, right? So you write it down 6a minus 2b, right? So you guys get it, right? So basically on the numerator, right? We have a greatest common factor. The greatest common factor among those two terms is actually 6a. So we write it down 6a, and in the bracket what we have is a minus 2b, right? Makes sense, right? Okay. And now we want to actually focus on the denominator. For the denominator, the greatest common factor will be 7, right? 7, and then it's a minus 3b, right? So makes sense, right? Okay. Makes sense, right? So basically, this is the way how you actually factor out over here. Okay. Right. So now you can see. I mean, sometimes you don't have to thinking about how you actually factor out things. Okay, so sometimes you don't have to thinking about those kind of how you actually factor out things really difficult. Okay, you know, sometimes, you know, when you actually, as I always say, you want to make sure you look at the question first, and then you thinking about what method you doing the factory. Okay, you know, thinking before you actually doing question is really important. Okay, sometimes it's just not quite difficult to actually find it. Okay, don't think, you know, make sure you don't think you don't think so complicated. Okay, all right. So that's okay. So now you can see we finished the factorization of the both sides, right? So now we are actually want to actually cancel some terms, right? We can see we can actually cancel a plus 3b and then also a plus 3b on the left hand side, right? And on the right hand side over here, we just cannot cancel anything, right? So now is the time for us to actually multiply them, right? So now we are actually applying the property, right? So now we are actually applying the property, right? So we are actually, you know, multiply them together. Right? We have a 7 and then a minus 3b, right? So now you can see we can actually cancel more terms, right? We can actually cancel out a minus 3b and then also a minus 3b, right? And we can also cancel a minus 2b and a minus 2b, right? A minus 2b. So now our solution will be 6 over 7a, right? So this is gonna be our solution, right? So we cancel all the terms and the only thing left is 6 over 7a, right? Okay, so for question 4, the answer will be 6 over 7a. Okay. Okay, so let's move into question 5. All right, so let's move into question 5. So question 5 again, question 5. You look at this. Okay, so so question 5. Pay attention to it. Okay, so cause we have a division in the middle, right? So over here, as always, we're gonna have to factor out the thing. We're gonna have to factor out the thing, right? But you gotta be careful. We have we basically over here we have a division over here. Okay, so right now I think you guys should be good enough. So we're gonna actually doing those questions a little bit more faster. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how you actually doing those questions a little faster. Okay, so so we're gonna factor the left hand side first, and you can see we have a greatest common factor which is 4, right? So you write it down 4 and then minus 3, and you basically for now you down with the numerator. And for the denominator, you can actually see the greatest common factor is actually equal to 5. And so you write it down. So you write down a plus 3, right? So 5 will be the greatest common factor among 5a and 15, right? Okay, so basically for now you basically done it. Okay, you basically done with the factorization of the left side. And since this is a division, so we according to the property, it just basically become this, right? A squared plus 3a over 8a squared, right? So what we're gonna do is we have to we write it down the left hand side. Alright, so we write it down because we already finished it. Right? You already finished the factorization of the left hand side, and then we have to do the factorization of the right hand side. We have a as the greatest common factor, right? So we write it down a and a plus 3, right? And for the denominator, it's still gonna be 8a squared, right? Okay. So there's actually one thing you can get cancelled over here. You can actually cancel a, and then the bottom it become 1, right? So now you can see we can actually no longer cancel any more terms, right? So we just basically multiply them, right? So we multiply them together. So we are actually applying the property, right? So okay. So that's why I say you want to keep in mind how you actually using the property really well, okay? Because we are actually using the property all the time, right? So so over here you can see we can actually cancel out a plus 3 and a plus 3, right? You can actually cancel those terms, and then 4 also get cancelled. 8 will become 2, right? Because 8 is actually equal to 4 divided by 2. Right? So now we actually finished it. Right? We have a minus 3 at the top, and then we have actually a 10 at the bottom, right? On the bottom, right? On the bottom, a plus 3 get cancelled, 8 also get cancelled. So the only thing left is 10, right? So our solution for this question is a minus 3 over 10. Okay, so you can see we can actually no longer cancel anything out, right? So that's our final solution for question 5. Okay. Oh, so let's move into question 6. Okay, so we're gonna try doing those questions a little more faster, because I think you guys should be ready to do it. Okay, so what we have, as always, we have to factor out, we have to simplify, we have to factor out, right? We have to factor out in order to cancel the term, right? So let's first focus on the left hand side. So on the top, right? So what we on the numerator, what we have is x plus 3 and the x minus 3. So you guys remember the property, right? The property. So it just become it does basically become x plus 3 and a minus 3, right? And on the denominator, we have a greatest common factor, which is 2x, right? So 2x become x minus 3, right? Okay. So now we actually finish the factory of the left hand side, right? So and over here we have a division. So you know you have to flip it, right? So you know you basically have to flip it, right? You have to flip it, right? So now we are actually applying property of the division, right? So we flip it, and then we are good to go. We are actually good to go, right? So now is the time for us to actually factor out the right hand side. Okay, for the left hand side we already done it, so we just write it down. Okay, so now you can see on the right hand side what we have is it should be 2x and plus 1 and the 2x minus 1. Makes sense, right? So we are actually using the property over here, right? So we basically applying this property again, right? Okay. And so now for now we actually want to factor out the denominator, right? So I'm just going to show you guys what is the right combination to make it work over here. So what we have is something like this, right? So we have, let me check again. So this is going to be the right combination. Okay, so this is going to be the right combination. So it's 2x minus 1 and then x plus 3. Okay, so I mean everything makes sense, right? So basically the thing what we do over here is kind of like we have the thing we're talking about before, the thing we're talking about, we are actually combine them to apply it, right? And to solving a problem, right? Okay, so now we totally finished all the factorization of both sides, right? So now we actually want to cancel some terms, right? So we can actually cancel x minus 3 and then x minus 3, those two it get cancelled, right? And we can also cancel 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1 is also get cancelled, right? So now we cannot cancel anything more, so we're gonna write it down, we're gonna multiply them, right? We're gonna multiply them. So 2x x plus 3 for the denominator, and the numerator will be x plus 3 and 2x plus 1, right? Okay, so now you should be able to see that we can actually cancel x plus 3 and x plus 3, right? Those two terms get cancelled, right? And that leaves our solution, right? So this is going to be our solution, right? So what we have over here is that the solution over here should be for this question is 2x plus 1 over 2x, right? So we completely finish all the factorization, and we get our solution as 2x plus 1 over 2x for the solution. Okay, all right. So now let's move into question 7. Okay, so question 7, as always, maybe you're thinking about that. No, it's right. Maybe you're thinking about that. When you look at the question, you feel like yeah, it's too complex, but it's actually not. Okay. So as I say, the strategy over here is we have to working one step by step. Okay, we have to working step by step. Okay, so we want to actually factor out the left hand side first, and then we want to factor out the right hand side second, right? And then we say, and then you got to be careful. We have a division in the middle, right? Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so first of all, we have to finish the So we actually want to, factor out the left hand side, right? So now we first of all we want to factor the numerator first. Okay. We want to factor out the numerator of the left hand side. Okay. So let me show you the right combination. Okay. So what we have is we have R and R, and then the right combination over here is -3 and then 5. Okay. It's actually negative. It actually have to be -3s and then 5s. Okay. Okay. So let me check one more time. Let me check one more time. Okay. So this is actually the right combination. Okay. So you just write it down. Okay. You can also try this question by yourself before I even talking about it. Okay. R -3s bracket. So now we actually finished the factorization of the numerator of the left hand side, right? So now we actually want to factor out the denominator of the right hand side, right? So for the denominator, you can see we actually have a common factor, right? We have a common factor R squared, and the thing inside the bracket will become R plus 5s, right? So okay. So now, so basically for now, you can see you can actually no longer factor out anything more. We can actually no longer factor out anything on the denominator, right? So we finished the factory. Okay, so now we basically finished the factory of the left hand side. Okay, so as I said, it's not quite difficult. You just have to be patient and then doing the step by step. And if you're doing more, you will see more clear. You will actually know how you actually gonna solve it. You will actually solving those questions more faster. Okay, and you can see already. So let's moving on. Okay, so now you can see we have a division over here. So we have to switch the side, right? So we have to reverse it, right? So that's basically it is, right? So we have to basically reverse it, right? Right. So now we can actually now let me actually write it down. Okay. So now we since we already finished the left hand side, we're just gonna write it down. Okay, so we're just gonna write it down because we already finished the factorization of the left hand side. So now we are actually ready to factor out the right hand side, right? So you can see on the denominator, on the numerator, there's actually nothing you can factor it. So you just write it down 5r to the power 3. Okay, on the numerator there's nothing we can factor it, so you just write it down 5r to the power 3. And you look at the denominator. You should be able to know that we all the thing what we have to do is we just using the property over here, right? Okay, I think up at this point you guys should be able to see it right away, right? So for the denominator, all you have to do is using the property to finish the factory, right? Okay. Okay, so now we are actually ready to cancel out some terms because we already finished all the factorization, right? So we can actually factor r plus 5s and r plus 5s over here, right? We can actually cancel r plus 5s and r plus 5s over here, right? And we can also cancel out r minus 3s over here, right? So it also get cancelled. And we can also cancel r squared, right? R squared get cancelled and r to the power 3 become r, right? It's pretty clear, right? Okay. So basically, if you're good enough, then you can see, you should be able to see that, the solution for this question is 5r over r, okay, sorry, 5r over r plus 3s. Okay, if you're good enough, then you should be able to doing this. Okay. Okay. All right. So if you're good enough, you should be able to doing this. Good. So you basically you can see all the terms on the left hand side. All the terms it get cancelled, right? It get cancelled. So there's only right. So now there's only some terms on the right hand side, right? So the answer and the answer will be 5r over r plus 3s. Okay. Okay. Right, guys. Okay. So let's move into question 8. We are almost done. Okay. So okay, on this question I will show you a little bit details. Okay, I may think maybe it's just a little bit fast. Okay, so as always, as I say before, for this kind of problem, we have to finish the factorization first, right? So we want to finish the factorization of the left hand side first, and then we want to also finish the factorization on the right hand side, right? And keep in mind, over here we have a division over here. Okay, if you see a division, then that means you have to reverse it, you have to flip it. Okay, that's the meaning of it. Okay, so now let's first factor out the numerator of the left hand side. Okay, so we write it down p and p. Okay, and the right combination over here is negative 7q and 3q. Okay, so the right combination over here is this. Okay, so let me actually check one more time. Okay, let me actually check one more time. Yeah, okay, so this is gonna be the right combination. Okay, so you draw a line and then you write it down. Okay, you write it down, p plus 3q and p minus 7q. Okay, so now just gonna erase it. Okay, so if you still want, you can also pause the video, right? Okay, so now we actually done this part, right? So we actually finished the factorization of the numerator, right? So now we actually want to factorize the denominator, right? So right now we want to actually factor out the denominator, and we can see over here, we can actually see a common factor, right? So we can see a common factor which is 4. The greatest common factor among those two terms is 4, right? So the inside part will be p minus 7q. Okay. So now you can see you can actually no longer factor anything out on the denominator. So we are actually done with the denominator, and then we finish the whole factorization of the left hand side, right? Okay, so now you can see we actually have a division over here, right? We actually have a division over here, so we have to flip it, right? So maybe you ask me how I'm gonna flip it. So I'm just gonna tell you one trick. Okay, you just remember we have a 1 on the bottom. Okay, we have a 1 on the bottom. Okay, so basically, okay, so this is the trick. Okay, this will help you to actually this will help you actually flip it. Okay, so so basically over here we actually try to flip it, flip this part, right? So we actually want to flip it this part, right? So we write 1 at the top and then 2p squared plus 6pq on the bottom. Makes sense, right? Okay, makes sense, right? Okay, so basically basically this is the trick. Okay, so this will help you to understand why why you actually flip in this kind of way. Okay. So now now we get rid of the division, right? So now we are actually able to and we haven't factory out this part yet, right? So we haven't factory out this part yet. So before we doing any cancel, right? We have to factory out the right hand side, right? Okay. So we're gonna write it down. We're gonna write it down the left hand side, which we already finished the factorization, right? So now we actually want to finish. We actually want to do the factorization of the left hand side or of the right hand side, right? And on the denominator, you can see we have a greatest common factor which is 2p, right? 2p, and then inside is p plus 3q, right? So now you can see we can no longer factor anything out on the denominator. So we are actually done with it, right? So we are actually done with it. So now you are ready to actually cancel some terms, right? So we can actually cancel p minus 7q, p minus 7q, right? Those two terms get cancelled, and we can also cancel p plus 3q and p plus 3q on the other side, right? So now that leave our solution as 1 over 4, right? 1 over 4 multiply 1 over 2p, right? After we cancel everything, the thing left is 1 over 4 multiply 1 over 2p, right? So now we get our solution as 1 over 8p, right? Now we get our solution as 1 over 8p, right? Okay, everything makes sense, right? So basically, again, so now you basically try to factor out both terms, and then you cancel those terms. And then you will get your solution. Okay, that's basically the idea about how you actually go in solving those kind of problem. Okay. All right. So now we are actually on our last question, and it is a pretty long one. Okay. So now is the time for you guys to actually pause the video and then try this question by yourself. Okay. Okay, so now let's do the question together. Okay. So this time I'm gonna show you guys how we can actually doing this, how we are going to finish this question. So maybe you're gonna find you actually have this kind of problem in the exam, right? So I'm just gonna show you guys how you can actually finish this question in a short amount of time. Okay. Again, you try to factor it, right? So you try to factor it. For the denominator, what we have on the most left hand side, denominator. Okay, so we have a greatest common factor which is 2, and then x minus 4. Right? And then now we try to focus. We try to focus on this part, right? So we try to focus on factoring out the numerator, right? We try to factor out the numerator. So let me actually write it down. Okay, x, and then we have a negative 4, and then we have a 2. Okay, so this is gonna be the right combination. Okay, so this is gonna be the right combination. All right. Oh yeah. Okay, so you basically write it down x minus 4 and then x plus 2. Okay, so now we actually done with the most left part. Okay, we done with the left hand side part, right? So now we try to focus on the middle part. Okay, so now we want to factor out the numerator, right, of the middle term. We have a common we have a greatest common factor which is x, so it's x plus 5, and we are done. We are basically done it, right? And now we basically try to, factor out the numerator, right? The denominator, right? And you know that it should be x plus 2, x plus 3. Okay. Okay. So basically over here the right combination is actually x plus 2 and x plus 3. Okay. Alright. So over here, so basically right now we already finished the middle term. Okay, we finished the middle term, and then you see there's a division over here. So you basically know we have to flip it. Okay, so we have to flip it. So what we're gonna have is we have x plus 3 and x minus 3, right? So you can see over here what we have is x squared minus 9. So after we flip it, it will become numerator, right? So we basically applying the property over here, right? We apply this property over here, right? We basically apply this property over here, right? And then we finish our factorization, right? So we basically finish our factorization, right? So it is x plus 3 and x minus 3 on the numerator, right? And you know that this part, right? This part will become the denominator, right? After you flip it, right? And the right combination over here should be x plus 5 and x minus 3, right? Okay. Right. So the right combination for is x plus 5 and x minus 3. Alright, so now you can see we basically finished all the factorization, right? So now we are actually ready to cancel some terms, right? We can actually cancel x plus 4, we can actually cancel x minus 4 and x minus 4, right? It get cancelled. And we can also cancel some terms. We can also cancel x minus 3 and x minus 3, right? X plus 3 also get cancelled, right? X plus 3 also get cancelled, right? And x plus 5 and x plus 5 also get cancelled, right? And we can also cancel x plus 2 and x plus 2, right? Okay. So now you can see our solution is just simply x over 2. Right? Okay. So I think up on this point, if you watching the video up on this one, you should be able to know really well how you basically solving this kind of problem. Okay. So as I say, it's not really difficult. It just you have to. You want to make sure you actually doing the. You want to make sure you factor out. I mean, your factorization is right. So basically, you basically just want to make sure your factorization is right. So I mean, I know it's quite long, but that's why you have to working step by step, right? So that will get you to the right answer, right? So basically this is the way, okay? So right? So you basically want to make sure you're doing the right factorization. Okay, you want to make sure you're doing the right factorization, right? That's basically if you doing the right factorization, then you will getting a right answer. Okay. So basically, today we're in this topic, we're basically talking about multiplying and dividing rational expression. As I said before, it's a really important section. So you definitely have to put some amount of time, to get to know how you actually applying those properties, right? So we're basically talking about the multiplying rational expression. right? We're basically talking about two property over here. One is multiplying rational expression, another one is dividing rational expression, right? So we basically have been applying those property all the time, right? We have been applying those property all the times, right? Okay. And after that, we are actually doing those questions too. Cause I want to make sure you guys does know how we actually going to apply it, right? Okay. Okay. So basically, thanks you guys to watching this video. Okay. So thanks you guys to actually watching this video. Alright. So thanks you guys to okay. I just repeat many times. So thank you guys watching my video. Okay. So please subscribe to my channel, right? Subscribe to my channel. Turn the notification on. Okay, turn the notification on. Okay, and also like the video. Okay, so if you still have any question, please leave a comment below. Okay, so please leave a comment below. All right, if you still have any question regarding to any of the problem over here. Okay, all right, so I hope you guys have a good day. Okay, so see you guys on the next video. All right.